So I just finished my studies and I can finally make videos that nobody cares about. So anyway, on the unit determination, we got Yunkui submit. First and foremost, I'm gonna start with Izwan. She's the first character for Yunkui submit, also the first ever Rapture character. So the first passive Grandmaster, she's a Rapture. By the way, in Zenless, Rapture character by default ignore defense. So if she were to be in AV, I think she would ignore damage reduction. But I think she should have that perks if she has a meter. So she have a meter here. If she visits 100%, she will gain 60% damage and deals 40% more damage to overshield and no damage reduction, like I said. And then the ink manifestation, I take this from her skill where you can parry and then press it like 3 times. So she has a 50% chance to parry an attack and then follow up with 50% of the damage, 10% cooldown. Additionally, her damage will be increased by 30% if she attacks an enemy that is stunned or that enemy is currently having a stun lockout. And she have an ultimate. At first when I made this, I'm kinda confused how to like properly give her this ability, cause like giving her a meter is kinda weird, and then if she got her ability just from leveling up, I think that would be bad. So her ability can only be used once her meters are full 100%. So she will have 2 abilities or ultimate. The first are Endless Talisman Suppression, deals 300 of her damage, and then it will be evolved to King Min Sky Shade, dealing 400 of this damage. After using the ability, does not stack by the way, she would gain 20% crit rate and 40% crit damage for 30 seconds. I think that's fair. A pure DPS unit does not rely on DOT effect or anything. This is why trying to replicate Zenless mechanic and importing it to AV is kinda hard, because by default every character can procs anomaly, status effect like burn, corruption, this and that. So it's kinda weird, but it's kinda hard. So, but for a certain type of character, I think it's fine if we don't do that, like Izwan for example. Anyway, next, in Ho, he's a physical, but Avery does not really have a like physical or anything, so I just decided to put him as a fire attribute. I tried my best to give him 3 passive, but no matter how hard I rack my brain, I just cannot. So he is going to have only 2 passive. The tank, he by default immune to status effect and status debuff, and then he will have an ability called Strike. Once you use, he will attack an enemy, and then that enemy will suffer 20% more damage from all sources, like just basic attack, ability, DOT effect, etc. And then he will perform a total of 3 follow-up with 65% of his damage. And that ability will have a 50-second cooldown. Not technically, Panihu specifically only buff Rapture, but I kinda it's kinda difficult. Maybe if the devs are serious about adding him, they could only make him a support for only a Rapture character. For this one though, I made him into a universal support rather than the Rapture Zenless character specific support. Next, we have Jufufu. Again, a stunner, kinda hard to implement in AV, but this is my attempt anyway. she has a meter. Once the meter full 100%, she will spend 50 of the meter to do a follow-up of 7% of damage and then stun the enemy for 3 seconds. Additionally, any units in her range will receive a 50% crit damage bonus, and if any unit in the range has a follow-up mechanic and an ability, they will receive 40% damage bonus as well. Then we have a second passive, Tiger Attack. She have a companion, like that iron ball thingy. The name is Huwei. That thing will also attack along with Jufufu for 30% of the unit damage, and each attack will refill 20% of the meter. Okay, then lastly, whenever an ally with meter use an ability, that ally get 30% of meter back. When I first make the passive for Jufufu, I thought I couldn't get her to 3 passive because again, I just couldn't figure it out. So I just decided to add a third passive anyway, Aura of Authority, and that's that because there is a lot of unit in AV that relies on meter anyway, so I feel like maybe it's good enough. And then lastly, the final member of Yunkui Summit, we have Ye Shunguang. Technically, there is Ye Shiwan, her brother, but he's not playable. Even if I try to make, and it just won't go, so I just not gonna do that. Also a physical unit, but again, AV doesn't have that, so I think the most logical one would be Cosmic, because I mean, if you've seen her gameplay, then you understand why Cosmic would suit her. So she's an attacker. She would gain 44.4% crit rate as well as 25% attack bonus on placement. This unit has a stock or a meter, whatever. Just imagine that, a stock or meter. Let's call this stock Sword Force. So each attack slowly recovers stocks. So let's say 2 attacks give 1 Sword Force. Okay. So after the stocks reach 6, you can use her ability. So she's pretty much an ability focus DPS. So a second passive, Chasing Storm. Once the stocks are reached, this unit can use an ability, Chasing Storm. She will like do a nuke dealing 200% of the unit damage, as well as transforming this unit from this to that, from brown to white. And then we'll also activate an Ether Veil. Ether Veil is a Zenless specific mechanic. Other unit, I also plan on adding other unit that have Ether Veil so they could work with Ye Shunguang, as well as buffing her damage by 110%. The transformation will last for 60 seconds. Additionally, any Ether Veil give Ye Shunguang 3 stocks. And what I want to mention, because I did not put it there, if she's already in the transform state, if there's a unit that gave her Ether Veil while she's in the transform state, she will gain like 3 backup stocks. So when the transformation ends, she will already have 3 stocks. So it's not reset from 0. It's easier to get to use the ability again. And lastly, we have Cleaving Heavens. Can only be used after Chasing Storm is used and before the transformation ends. So if you have seen the animation for this ultimate of her, you will know what I'm talking about, because this would be confusing if you do not know what she does. Does a single slash of 250 of this unit damage, then a multiple slash of 200, and then a final attack of 300. And then after this is used, the transformation ends immediately. So yeah, I think I decided to take a quick look at my latest video about AV recognition, and yeah, I'm not surprised. And this one also won't do better than last time, so it's whatever. I'm just here to show my idea. So like we have this one, I plan on redesigning her to show what her design would be, since the dev does want to redesign all unit at this point. Any new unit up and coming will be redesigned, this and that. So Jufufu would be, Panihu would be redesigned, Jufufu would be redesigned. I plan on doing that, but I feel like if I did that on a video that does not do well, I feel like that it does not reward me. I feel like I would just waste my time. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if the devs are serious, like if they genuinely and unironically watch this video and was like, oh yeah, let's add this guy idea is fine, and they wanna add it, then maybe I would spend my time and actually use my brain to come up with a redesign for them to add in Anime Vanguard. But considering how much of a failure this video is, I'm not gonna do that for now. So yeah, I think that's all for me. Thank you for watching.